Hiya, how you doing? I still have this bloody cold. I'll try and not cough through the podcast. And also I still don't have my mic. So I feel really bad for you guys because you're just getting like the worst sound ever. Of course, as an vet, I am also a perfectionist and would love this to sound really great, but this is just how it's gonna have to be because otherwise there's so many episodes I can't record, right? So, and I have so many ideas. So today I want to speak about taking a break from veterinary medicine because both clients I've coached for myself, and I also, as you know, I like coaching on Reddit. And something I just hear so much is people taking a break because they obviously feel they need even several breaks, and then they come back. And when you take a break from something, it's like going on holiday, isn't it? You just feel so much better. Suddenly you get like more clarity, and now you feel better. Your nervous system calms down. You can breathe again. You start getting ideas. But then when you go back, because you haven't actually changed anything, then you're back to square one because like vet med doesn't it doesn't stop being challenging just because you're out of it. You go back straight in and there's going to be the same problems, the same challenges, and the same issues. And if you have not rewired any of your neural patterns, neural pathways, you're just gonna go back straight into it. And this is where I see a lot of vets then give up. Because if you've taken a break and you felt better, and then you go back in and you feel bad again, then you're like, well, that's it, there's nothing I can do. I tried taking a break and it didn't work. So if your question is, if you're at a point where you're thinking, I feel terrible, I don't feel motivated, I resent the people, I feel trapped, I feel stuck, I don't, I wish I could leave, but I have student debt, whatever it is, and you're questioning, should I quit or should I take a break? What I want to say is, if you can afford it and you have the resources, I would absolutely say take a break. For me, taking a break and then at the same time working on what I had going on inside of me was golden. It was so good because my nervous system was calm. I wasn't getting triggered all the time, and I could work through my issues, my people pleasing, my that came from, especially from my dad being an alcoholic, my incapability, my inability to setting boundaries, all the things. No, I could work through them in a safe home environment and try things out with my husband and my kids and my mom, which didn't always go that well. I'll challenge anybody to say pet owners are worse than your family members to set boundaries for you get my kids, right? Like you're home, I learned to meditate, I learned to breathe, I learned to do the heart variability thing where you can kind of lower your pulse and so on. And from that place, safe at home, I could get coached. I had a lot of anxiety, and as you know, if you've listened to me for a while, I went to ER with heart palpitations, with chest pains. So I feel like I was pretty burned out. No, I was not suicidal at this point, but I was definitely, not feeling great. So I would say if you are at that point where you really feel you can't handle it anymore, then taking a break is absolutely a good thing. And if you can combine a break with then therapy or coaching, then you have so much to win from it. I feel taking a break, like I said before, and not then doing anything about how you work, how your neural pathways work, your patterns, how you see things, all that. Not learning how to process feelings and then go back into vet med. I really feel the break is nice, but I don't think it's used for a long time. Another option is if you're feeling burned out, is obviously if you can't afford taking a break, is to then sign up for therapy or sign up for coaching, depending on what you need right now, or both. Also, a great option. While you're working is also a really good help. No, and it might take a bit longer if you can't calm your nervous system down because you're in it, but you can for sure still feel much, much better. Now, the problem about taking a break, as I see it, as I experienced it, as my clients have had as well, is that the first issue is obviously you're taking a break and maybe you can take sick leave unless you're self-employed, but you're taking sick leave, but nobody can actually see there's anything wrong with you. And this is where many of us almost wish for like a broken arm, a broken leg, like a little coma, a little accident, or some little disease that's like really obvious. and you have to have like bed rest. You can physically not get to work because you can't stand or you can't use your arms or something, or you're momentarily blind. Something that people go, oh no, like poor Gunila, like she really needs that time off. Look, that terrible thing that happened to her. Look at like her with her leg in cast, right? You don't have to justify it. You don't have to explain yourself. It's obvious why you're on sick leave, or maybe you got COVID and you're coughing nonstop. And the problem with being on a break and because you're on sick leave because of stress is that you can't show anybody. There's nothing obvious. So you feel like you have to justify yourself. And I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying this is the feeling we get. We feel we have to justify. I'm off because I was struggling, and you have to like explain. Oh, I hope my coughing is not too annoying. I mean, I get really annoyed when other people keep coughing, so I hope it's not too much. I'll drink a bit. So we think that we have to justify, we feel we have to justify this sick leave, this off being off work, because hello, we can't prove. There's nothing measurable. There's nothing on the outside that's telling you I don't feel well. I can literally not cope with work anymore. And then because we are not real sick, and this is also a weird thing our brain does, because of course you need a break. Like you might not seem sick, but your brain and your nervous system, they're sick. Like they need a break, right? And but because we can't prove it, we don't see it. And now because I'm on a break, I straight away feel slightly better because tomorrow I know I don't have to go to work. Then I feel bad because one is like, what about my peers that now have to cover my shifts, or maybe my work that maybe I like my manager, maybe it's like an independent clinic and now they have to employ someone else and all that mess. Maybe you feel really useless because you're not doing anything, you're not used to doing anything. And this is the sex. So the first challenge is that you're actually on sick leave. You feel you have to justify it. You feel bad for being on sick leave when you don't have a proven broken leg or broken neck. Hopefully not. And the second bit of it is because we are such hard workers, right? As vets, we are problem solvers. We're in there. We work like from school through high school, college, whatever you went to, vet school to get through. And that hard work got us to where we are. We are vets now, right? That perfectionism, that relentless, like finding out what to do next and being efficient, that got us to where we are, right? And then you finish vet school and then you like have to get good at everything as quick as possible. And there's so many things I still need to study and courses, and I need to get through all this list of surgeries. So what happens often is that we attached our self-worth. It's very much strongly linked with our output. Like what can I produce? What can I show I've done? And also, a brain is always problem solving, is always like trying to find something to do. And if you finish one task, then it's like, but you could do it better this way, or you could also do this thing, and I finished this. Like it's always coming up with things. So be forced to take a step back and sit at home and rest. Even if you're like, oh, now I'm at home, so now I need to do all the cleaning, all the cooking, and take care of everything. Like your brain will still come in with this bullshit that now you're not doing anything, right? It's too quiet. You're not moving, you're not solving any problems, you're working, you're not earning money, you're not helping at the clinic, you're just this like useless, valueless person, zero value, because now you're sitting home at the couch reading Harry Potter. That would be like my go-to, and drinking tea, right? And there's this fallacy that in order to be worthy as humans, and never mind as vets, is that we just have to be productive. And you have to think about, I don't know if I talked about this before, but the Industrial Revolution, when that came in and everybody was sent into their mines and they were sent out to like chop, chop, chop. And also during I think Industrial Revolution was the worst part of it. And then there was also during when the agriculture came in, but it was especially during the Industrial Revolution that suddenly like hours worked were hours value as a human as well, no? And this like work, 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 work in order to prove your worth. And if we got really used to attaching our work, our output, our efficiency, what we do, the money we earn to our value. So now you're sitting at home, you have to justify why you're off because nobody can see your leg in a cast. And also on top of that, you're feeling useless because you don't feel like you're doing anything. Like you're not being efficient, you're not working. And being used to working and then stopping can be very hard. Another thing is, if we feel really bad and we're getting into burnout, you know that in order to not process, in order to not face our emotions, we tend to buffer, right? We buffer with over drinking, we buffer with overeating, with scrolling, with Netflix, whatever. But one of our buffers could potentially be overworking. I keep working, and then I don't have to face this horrible feeling I don't want to feel, because if I overwork, I can maybe just like fall over and sleep at night, no? Now you take that away, and now you're like feeling useless, have to justify why you're off. And, and on top of that, we took away the only buffer you had, which was overworking. It is not easy. So I'm telling you this, not because I say you shouldn't go on a break, because all these horrible things will happen. I'm preparing you that if you take a break, which I recommend if you have the resources and the time, that your brain is gonna hit you with all this shit. Oh God, YouTube is gonna ban my video again because I'm swearing. Mm, I'll try and catch the captions and put a little sign where it says "eat or you." So your brain is gonna hit you with all this bullshit, and it's gonna tell you all these things that you're worthless and useless and valueless, and you have to like feel you justify, and you feel like your family and friends and acquaintances are judging you because you've taken time off, but you're not really sick, and it is funny, when I'm coaching people, and I had this feeling myself, and I'm coaching about, and they're like, if I could just break a leg, you would have like, okay, you're burned out. You're feeling terrible. You can hardly breathe. You can't even think about what you want for dinner. Your hair is falling out. You're not sleeping. Your family are looking at you thinking, who is this ghost that, of this person you used to be? And on top of that, you want to break a leg so you can feel better about being off. I mean, it does make me laugh. And hopefully when I coach up, when you hear this, it makes you laugh as well, because you can see how crazy your brain is in order to get you to a point where it just thinks it's safe for you to be, right? So there's a reason why our brains do this, right? It's not that you're not crazy and your brain is not super abnormal or anything like that. Our brains are always there to protect us. And thank God, right? Because you want to cross the road and the brain is like, no, there's a truck coming, Gunila, you want to just stay there. And you're like, okay, thanks, brain, for seeing that. The brain is there to protect you, and thank God, because otherwise we would just be splattered by trucks everywhere and eating poisonous food, no? But one of the things brain wants to protect you from is to be expelled from the tribe. And we know this, right? We know, like, when we were back in the good old days, we were cave people, we were in our tribe. And now if you're suddenly useless and you don't want to work and you don't really want to contribute and you don't really provide any value to the tribe, you just sit there like just eating all the mammoth meat as they bring it in and all their nuts, and you're not doing anything. Of course they're going to throw you out, because why would they want you there, right? And then now you're all by yourself outside the cave. It's raining, you're cold, there's no food, and there's a mountain lion. So being expelled from the tribe naturally feels extremely dangerous to our brain, because brain has not evolved that much, right? So it tries to protect you from being expelled from the tribe. It tries to protect you from being useless, valueless, and being judged by the tribe. And this is exactly what I just talked about, right? So because brain doesn't know the difference, it doesn't understand that in this society, we're not necessarily going to be expelled from a tribe. We're not necessarily going to die alone and cold and hungry and eaten by a polar bear all at the same time. It will throw these thoughts at you. It will throw these feelings at you that you should work, that you shouldn't be off, and it's going to mess with you. The good thing is now you have heard this podcast and you're aware of it. So when you go and have a break, even if it's a short break, right? You don't have to take a year off like I did. I was really lucky I could do it. Thanks to doing a shit ton of locum shifts up to it. So because I was like, I'm just gonna work really hard, earn up the money, and then I'm just gonna take time off. And I did that, and then Bruce also supported me, help, thank God. Um, so I want to say to you, if you feel like you want a break, like take it, but be aware that your brain is going to come up with all this stuff. Be prepared for it. Even write down, you could have a little post-it note saying brain is going to mess with you, it's going to tell you use useless, and plan how you're gonna affront that. No, how you gonna deal with your brain telling you all this, and telling you you're gonna be judged, and you're gonna be looking at, your mom is gonna be like, but why did you really take time off? And you have to explain yourself. Like, make sure you have a bit of a plan for this, a bit like, when you go off for being pregnant, you have a bit of a plan. You're going to take your supplements, you're going to prepare your bag. Well, it's a bit the same. Taking a break from bed med it can be almost as difficult of having a child. I'm not even kidding, because I have coached a few people that are either are on break or have been on several breaks and then come back. Now, to address the other thing, which was you go on a break, but then you work on yourself, right? Don't go on a break and then don't do any work, but don't do any work. Like enjoy yourself, like have time, rediscover your hobbies, spend time with your family, rediscover yourself, read nonfiction books, whatever you need, but also spend like half an hour a day. Now you have the time, or even a few hours a week working on yourself, learn to meditate. And don't say, I don't know how to meditate because I sit down and then I start thinking and I can't just empty my head. Like nobody can empty their head. Brain is just gonna keep throwing thoughts of you, 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and it's not gonna stop just because you meditate. Meditating is just being with yourself. And I have already before told you, oh, actually, I'm gonna make a meditation for you. God damn it. On episode 100, I am gonna make a meditation. So any vet now can have a guided meditation specifically for vets with my lovely voice, hopefully recovered and hopefully with a mic so you don't sit there thinking, oh my God, the sound is terrible, because that will throw you out of meditation. But you can use, but apart from that, if you don't want to wait for that, I don't like my voice, it's fine. Do a guided meditation. Breathe in and out of your nostrils. Notice your breath in your stomach, whatever it is. Just notice the thoughts coming in and learn to be a bit more of an observer of your thoughts so you're not so like a victim of your brain that just throws random stuff at you. Learn to meditate, learn to breathe, do breathing exercises, learn how to calm your nervous system down. Maybe with yoga, you can do tapping, EFT tapping. You can YouTube that. That is a great tool as well. I could actually teach a bit about that as well. Episode 101 coming up. And do tapping. And then so learn all about your nervous system. Do journaling, journal a bit every day. Do gratitude exercise. Like explore your brain, explore your body, explore your mind. Find out what works for you. Find out, what do I need? Am I that bad that maybe I'm literally coming into like an anxiety depression situation here? Do I need therapy? Do I need a doctor? Do I need a prescription for drugs? Like we're vets, we can use drugs. We don't need to sit here eating garlic, to feel better. We can actually take drugs. We believe in them, right? So take drugs if you need to. But also then obviously at the same time you work on yourself, right? So or maybe you don't feel like you need a therapist, but you do want some help. Life coaching, life coaching for you is like what I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm promoting myself, but um I know that a lot of the vets I've spoken to have had therapy. And it has been, and I've spoken about this before, right? Therapy is great to work through old issues. Like I do kind of wish I had sought therapy to get over my childhood with my alcoholic dad and all that. I think it could possibly have been helpful, but I somehow bypassed the whole thing because I didn't think I needed anything and just went into coaching, right? And then kind of came through through the back door. But one thing with therapists that people have told me is that they can't relate the same, right? That having someone that's not in the profession really struggle with understanding the difficulties we go through, such as, oh, I put a dog down yesterday and their child just died the day before of cancer. This is like really heavy shit we go through. And people that are not in the profession can sometimes maybe not follow you. No, and I haven't had personal experience with you. Like I said, I haven't done therapy, but I have had vets come to me that have gone to therapy and have had this experience. If you go to a therapist and it doesn't work for you, find another therapist or find a coach or someone who is in the profession that maybe can understand you better. Like, don't give up. Like I said before, keep trying until you find the modality or the person or the science, whatever works for you, because there's help for all of us out there. And I will die on this hill saying that in this profession we all need some sort of backing, not to help us, because it is really challenging at times and nothing has prepared us for all this shit. So that's what I want to say. Take a break if you need it. If you take a break, expect your brain to throw shit at you. Don't believe it. Be prepared for it. And while you're on your break, work on yourself. Have fun with it. Read some books, listen to some podcasts, everything, and just like open up, be curious to, why am I working this way? Why do I do these things? And don't just assume that being on a break, you're feeling better. Then when you go back, then you'll be absolutely fine. Like you will have to change some things while you're off. And that is a good thing because it's you. You might not be able to change the profession, as a whole right now in one go, but you can change yourself, right? You can change a lot and you have a control over a lot of things when you focus on yourself. So that is what I want to say to you today. If you're on a break and you can, take it and change yourself while you're at it and be prepared for the shit your brain is going to throw at you. And one thing, if you can't take a break for financial reason or resources or whatever, it's also fine. Because if you, for example, if you sign up with a session with me, then I can show you how you can already, even at work, even when you're still working, when you come home, how can you de-escalate the anxiety? How can you prepare for the next day? How can you unwind? How can you find like little oases of tranquility and unwiring your your patterns and getting your nervous system under control and calm down your amygdala and all that. We can do that for sure in a free session, or just keep listening to the podcast, download the free PDF. There's also my course. There's a ton of resources out there and you can use them all, and you don't need a break for it. If you can, great, but if you can't, it also great. Like anything is better than not doing anything and just sitting here thinking, oh, I'm really struggling, I wish I could quit. Like that's like, just do something. I'm always up for that. Okay, well, I hope my voice wasn't too annoying. I hope my coughing wasn't too annoying. And take great care. Have a great week. Bye.